Hello there, welcome to my ranking of my top favorite book series that I have read. Now, with a handful of these book series, I have not read all of the books, but I have read enough of them, or at least some of them. That's kind of the criteria I'm working with here. Now, in 28th, 27th, and 26th spot are Ali Cross, Theodore Boone, and Alex Rider. I'm kind of lumping these all together because they're all really similar in the fact that they're about like middle school detectives. And that kind of trope in general, I guess, just didn't excite me as much. The reason Alex Rider is above the other two is because it had a bit of a more likable protagonist. I still didn't enjoy it a whole lot, but the protagonist was bearable. With Ali Cross and Theodore Boone, the protagonists were, I found, really annoying and just irritating to watch. Like, Ali Cross goes on like a whole rant about how he intentionally just goes out of his way to be disobedient, which makes no sense to me in the context. Maybe I would have understood it better if I continued reading the book series, but I didn't. And with Theodore Boone, yeah, I'm not even going to go into Theodore Boone. He's just a weird guy. But with Alex Rider, he was a likable enough guy, but he did get like blackmailed into working for a secret spy organization in Britain, I think. It's been a while since I've read some of these. So yeah, those kind of not really into these sort of books, and that is my reasons for those. Okay, next on the list is Dogman. I was actually considering not including some of the graphic novels I've read, but might as well put it in here. I think we've all read Dogman or at least heard of it, and overall it's a pretty solid book series. But yeah, I think just between me growing older and each book getting progressively less funny, it's kind of an okay book series now. I can still pick up like the original books and think, oh, I can see how this is funny for a younger me. But even with like they're still making them, and with each one I'll like glance at it and be like, yeah, what is this at this point? So yeah, Dogman was fun in middle school, but now I'm a little bit older and I'm not into that kind of stuff as much anymore. Okay, next is Diary of an Among Us Crewmate. This was just, as far as I know, a standalone book. It was just a fun short read about Among Us, like when it was a really popular game, when it was like first blowing up. They made like just a fun book about it, and I believe it was given to me to read during one of my siblings' baseball games because I had to come along for that, and I wasn't entirely invested, so I'd be given like a book to read. And I remember being given this one and being done with it by the time the baseball game was ended. So I read through this really quickly. It was fun. Had some like fun plot twists at the end. A little predictable though, because it is, I think, targeted toward younger audiences, but overall solid book. Okay, next is Will Wilder. Bleh, that was kind of a tongue twister. Will Wilder. Okay, this one was a fun book, kind of an adventure book about a kid who investigates the mysterious elements of his hometown because there's like the second coming of these like spiritual monsters or something. I only read the first book in a 3-book series, so I hope it gets more fun. I would have liked to read more, but I moved on to other things. It was a pretty good book series. It's kind of lower because some of the other book series I've read I really like. Also, this one was a little like uncanny at times, which is good, but I don't know. It was just kind of a good book, but just good. Okay, next is The Cooper Kids. I have only read the first 2 or 3 in this book series, so I don't know a whole lot about it yet. I actually do want to read more in the future. Maybe I'll make another ranking video sometime down the road and update the list. Who knows? Pretty solid book series overall. It's about 2 kids who go investigate mysterious artifacts with their dad. Fun concept. And it's got a lot of cool spiritual elements to it as well. And it even tied a little bit into like mythology in the second book, I think. Yeah, this book series so far has had a really fun way of like keeping you on the edge of your seat and just wanting to know what happens next. But like it's like a really half and half sort of thing. Like half the time you're like really on the edge of your seat, but at the other half of the time you're kind of like, okay, like kind of in the beginning of the books. It kind of takes a while to get started, but once it does get started, it's really good. It just, you gotta like get through the first 3 chapters generally. So yeah, solid book series. Moving on. Okay, the next book on the list is Horizon. This was a really interesting one. It had a really unique concept and a really good mystery element. Like, these kids get trapped in some weird jungle, like their plane mysteriously crashes and these group of teenagers are the only ones that are left. And there's 5 books in this series, and each of them explores these fun, cool world building stuff. It's really funny, not funny. What am I talking about? It's really interesting and intriguing to try to like get through it and figure out what's happening because it's so interesting. And the one problem I have with this book series is the 5th book confused me and it kind of disappointed me in the end because like because it was so fun to like try to explore all the mystery elements and figure out what's going on with the other books. The 5th book was like the final conclusion. It was kind of like, oh, that's how it ended. Bummer. Also, this book was allegedly supposed to like come with a video game. Like, they made a book series for it and a video game version that you could like play. It was like a book adaptation of a video game that no longer exists. Like, I tried to find it and couldn't find it anywhere. So that was weird. Also, each book was written by a different author, so each one had its own unique vibe, and I think just the final conclusion, I wish the final author had the best vibes or whatever, but no, the 5th one is actually the one that fell flat a little bit for me, and that takes the series down a little bit, but overall, it's a really cool and exciting concept that was really fun to read about. On to the next book. Okay, the next book on the list is Imagination Station. This one was a really fun book series to read. It was one of the first ones I believe I've read. Not the one that got me into reading, but the first one I read to where I was actually willing to read a book, which was like a huge step forward for me. It's about these like kids who go time traveling in their imagination station. And they're like, the first 6 books that I read were about them like trying to catch this villain who was in a different time travel machine. He was going to different time eras and messing stuff up, and each book they got like a new special thing that helped them along their journey. They'd go back in time to explore a different time period and like just try to navigate through that and catch this villain. And there are more sagas, so to speak, where they go on different adventures for different purposes, but the original 6 were the ones that I read and really enjoyed, and overall, it was a really fun book series to read. It's kind of the one that started me on my path of reading, and eventually I would get super into reading when I read another book series later down the line. So yeah, really fun book series. I'd recommend checking it out. I think it even has some faith themes, but I know this book series, and it's good. On to the next book. Okay, the next book on the list is Viking Quest. This one was just a fun little book series, has 5 books in it, I believe, and it's about a girl who is kidnapped by Vikings. I believe it takes place in Ireland, but I'm not entirely sure. Can't quite remember, but it's just a fun story about a Viking quest. Some people go on adventures with Vikings, and in the later books, it even ties into like Leif Erikson and like the Vikings' exploration of the Americas. And it also has a really good message about like hope and staying strong in faith and stuff like that. So overall, this is a really fun short book series that's just fun to stop by and read. Not much else to say. On to the next book. Okay, next on the list is Warrior Cats, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard of this one. It's got a pretty big fandom. The fandom's part of the reason it's not higher. Anyway, it's about a normal house cat who goes into the forest and joins like a clan of wild cats, and he has to fulfill this epic prophecy. That was the first saga and was really good. And back when I had first only read the first saga, this was one of my favorite book series. But then they kept making more sagas, and with each saga, I liked it a little. I progressively started to like it a little bit less because I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, what's that saying? You either die the hero or live long enough to become the villain. Warrior Cats has lived long enough to become the villain, so that's where I kind of stand on that. Also, the target audience, it's very specific. You pretty much have to be a preteen to like it because it's got really mature themes, so like little kids can't read it. But it's also got very immature characters, so like an adult probably would have a hard time getting invested into it. Or maybe not an adult, but at least me, now that I'm becoming an adult, it's harder for me to get invested into it. So yeah, because I'm not a preteen anymore, like in that specific age range, it also falls off a little bit for me. Overall, it was a pretty good series, but then it kept going. So yeah, that's Warrior Cats. On to the next series. Okay, next book series on the list is Investigators. Now, this is similar in formatting to Dogman, where it's like an animalistic law enforcement group goes on adventures in a graphic novel setting. But it's a bit of a step above Dogman because there's a lot more like cool mystery elements and things tying together, and that makes it really fun. There's also a lot of emotional grip, and the humor moves a lot more from potty humor to like puns, which I really like. I haven't read some of the newer books as of late just because I've moved on to more chapter books nowadays. But yeah, I can still look back, pick up the book and read it and enjoy it just as much as I always did. So yeah, Investigators, very solid and fun book. It's about investigators who are alligators. Very fun book to read. Definitely recommend that. And on to the next book. Okay, the next book series on the list is Tuttle Twins. This is just a fun book series where they have like little educational lessons. It's generally targeted more toward children, like little kids. But back when I was a little bit younger, I did enjoy reading these books that have fun lessons, good visuals, and storytelling. And yeah, just a simple, fun educational book. Moving on. Okay, the next book series is The Prince Warriors. Now, this is a really fun book series. It's like a fantasy-styled one where, like, there's, like, two dimensions. There's, like, the real world and the fantasy world, and these kids go to the fantasy world. This is the exact same plot to a book series down the road. It's really fun. It even has, like, the characters, the struggles they go through feel really realistic, and it deals with themes like loss and, like, overcoming, courage, stuff like that. It's got a lot of really fun themes, and it's got a cool fantasy setting, unique world building. Overall, a really fun book. So yeah, I would definitely recommend checking this one out. It's a little bit younger audience, but it's still in the range to where I can read it and enjoy it. So yeah, that's Prince Warriors. On to the next book. Okay, the next book is The Hunger Games. Now, I've only read the first book in this series. I plan to read the rest later, and I'll probably update it when I update the list next time I make a video like this. But yeah, Hunger Games, the first one was really good. Like most people know about the Hunger Games, right? The plot, setting, it's all very unique and cool, like YA dystopian. And also the characters are really cool to like explore and like see like their internal thought, how they navigate this dystopian world. Also, this book has a really good way of like capturing the tension as well. Like, you want to know what's going to happen because it's very, what's the right word here? Intense, I think is the word. Like, it's very intense. You like want to know, will the main character survive? Obviously, I've also seen some of the movies, so as far as knowing if the characters will survive, get a little bit of spoilers, or at least I did. But I still really like this book, and I hope to get around to reading the second and third books and whatever new ones they're coming out with sometime soon. On to the next book. Okay, that was book 28 through 14 in my top 28 book series I've read. I think I'm going to do the rest of the books in a part 2 video for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content like this, please comment down below. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to as well, all that stuff. Thank you for watching this video, and have a great day.